insane, man. And I knew right away, that's the thing that bothers me. I knew it was a scam right away, man. Because I studied math. I took a bunch of financial math classes. Do you realize how infuriating it is to borrow a bunch of money, to go to school, to learn how stupid it was to borrow that money?
For many of us, we have long been under the impression that in order to be successful, we must go to college. Is it the case that this is overwhelmingly true, or have universities done an incredible job marketing? If college is so essential to success, then why do we have such a large student debt problem? Even though many colleges have gone remote due to COVID, why have tuitions stayed the same? Could college be a scam? Welcome to the Zeitgeist, guys. For all of my international viewers, I will be using the terms college and university interchangeably. I know that these are different things outside of the US, so I just wanted to clear that out. To be clear, I have a bachelor's degree in political science and I do not have student debt. Therefore, this segment is not coming from a perspective of sour grapes. Now that we've established that, let's take a look at the average return on investment of university. According to a study done by Northeastern University, the numbers look pretty good for college. Those with just a bachelor's degree earn about $65,000 a year on average, and only 2.2% are unemployed. The salary rate drops pretty significantly, and the unemployment rate rises the less education someone has. While these numbers look good, they do not tell the whole story. On average, people who attend university are usually more affluent to begin with, therefore skewing the numbers a bit. Also, even with this low unemployment rate, many college graduates are either underemployed or do not have a job within their field of study. According to another study by Northeastern University, only half of college graduates are landing jobs in their field. This report also showed that they were more likely to become servers and bartenders than engineers, mathematicians, or physicists. The elephant in the room, now more than ever, when talking about college is the student debt crisis. The total student debt sits at over $1.6 trillion with an average of over $30,000 per recent graduate who took out loans. So how did it get this bad? Was college always this expensive? Well, actually not. Throughout the 1970s, tuitions hovered at about $10,000 per year adjusted for inflation, and now the average tuition is over triple that number. Between 1989 and 2016, tuition price rose an average of 2.6% adjusted for inflation, with the wage rate only rising 0.3% during that same period. That means that the tuition rate rose 8 times the rate that the wages rose.
$157? Where are we going to get that kind of cash?
So why did tuition rates skyrocket? In 1978, Congress passed a bill known as the Middle Income Student Assistance Act. This made all undergraduates, regardless of class, eligible for subsidized loans and middle-income students eligible for Pell Grants. It was only about 3 years later that the tuition rates began to rise, and they have stayed on that upward trajectory ever since. The reason for this is that these student loans are unique. Typically with loans, the risk is shared by both the lender and the borrower, as the lender usually has the option to seize assets, but the borrower has the option of declaring bankruptcy. With student loans, the borrower cannot declare bankruptcy, and they can't even get rid of these loans in death, as the burden gets passed on to their relatives. This means that there is absolutely no risk to the lender, and they can offer out loans to almost anyone, who in any other circumstance would have absolutely no chance of being approved for a loan.
Make a wish. Any wish.
Wish for more!
Then your wish is granted. No wish is granted.
There are some countries around the world that provide free, aka taxpayer-funded university, such as Germany and the Nordic countries. Many people in the US say that this idea is unrealistic, but others say we have already done it.
Take a look at our own country. In the 1940s and 1950s, 50s and 60s, the great growth period, highest growth period in American society, higher education was virtually free.
This is sort of true, but misleading. There are some examples of when college was free, such as in-state schools for California residents until the 1970s. However, this was not the standard across the country. Nevertheless, state and federal funding used to make up a much larger portion of the cost of college. State funding per student has fallen, placing much more of the burden on students' tuition. However, it appears that the drop in state funding is not by any means the largest contributing factor to the rise in tuition prices.
Right now, for example, the University of California system has 280,000 students enrolled. At the same time, it has 227,000 employees. Do the math on that.
Another huge culprit for the rise in tuition prices is the expansion of the administrative apparatus. According to the Department of Education data, administrative positions at colleges and universities grew by 60% between 1993 and 2009, which Bloomberg reported was 10 times the rate of growth of tenured faculty positions. To make matters worse, the amount of professors per student has actually dropped in many cases, and it's becoming progressively more common for universities to hire adjunct professors instead of full-time professors.
The second thing you do is you go to the schools and say, hey guys, why are you 2.5 times more expensive than you used to be? That's kind of weird because, like, as far as I can tell, there's been no massive quality change. And the reason is that they've hired a lot of administrators. It has not gone to faculty. It has not gone to facilities. It has gone to just administrative excess and bloat.
In addition to the availability of student loans, the prestige of college has pumped up the demand. The demand of college has continued to rise because it is sold as the gatekeeper to success. Does this have any truth? Do we need college to get good jobs?
There's been a real societal push for everybody to get a college degree, hasn't there? I mean, I'm old. When I was in high school, I went to school in New Hampshire, big libertarian state, and the guidance counselors would tell some kids, don't go to college. Go to community college. Go learn how to fix a car. Go do this.
Trade school.
Go to a trade school. I doubt that happens. I don't know if it probably still happens in New Hampshire, but I doubt that happens in a lot of part of the country. I think you're right. It's been, those kind of jobs have been minimized, and they shouldn't be. They're so crucial and satisfying.
You're talking about the part of our labor force that keeps the lights on, keeps the plumbing working. You know, we're talking about jobs, not classic manufacturing jobs, although they fall under that rubric. You're really talking about jobs that can't be outsourced.
At the start of 2019, there were 7 million unfilled jobs. Many of these jobs are ones that require trade schools and apprenticeships instead of university. But these jobs carry the stigma of being blue-collar jobs. In reality, the schooling time is much shorter, it costs much less, the instruction is hands-on, it's got a much higher graduation rate, and as Mike Rose said, many of the jobs can't be outsourced. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median pay for pipe fitters, plumbers, and steam fitters is almost $52,000 per year. For power plant operators and elevator installers, it's $80,000. Germany is known for their vocational education training, as it has over 4 times the amount of students between the ages of 15 and 24 in apprenticeships as the US. As a result, they have one of the lowest youth unemployment rates in the EU. They are one of the most productive workforces, and many other countries are looking to emulate their system. But which other jobs are universities not really needed for? Learn to code is a common phrase today, as technical skills are highly in demand. The majority of programmers in a Stack Overflow survey reported that they were self-taught, with also a significant amount learning on the job. In addition, coding boot camps have been popping up like wildfire, and many people have gone from complete beginners to hired junior programmers within a couple of months. I actually did one of these coding boot camps, and I'm going to talk much more about that in a segment coming soon. Entire courses on almost every subject imaginable exist online, either for free or for a fraction of the price of college. But there is not yet an adequate replacement for college in the fields of science and engineering. In 2019, these graduates earned the highest amount of money for any field, with engineers averaging about $70,000 per year. So is college a scam? Well, it depends. The cost is definitely artificially inflated. There is a major skills gap made up of mostly jobs that do not require a college degree, and the landscape of education is rapidly changing. Will universities end up becoming trade schools for STEM subjects? That's the Zeitgeist, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and there's so much more that I wanted to include, but I want to keep these digestible. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, give me a like, comment, or subscribe if you haven't already. I look forward to hearing your feedback, and I will see you all in the next one.